morning, everybody. Hi. I'm so tired. As as some of you know, you regular viewers know, I work I work at night on Friday and Saturday night at a liquor store, and I worked last night till about midnight, and got off work, came home, could not fall asleep. Fell asleep probably around 3:30 ish. Uh, yeah, and then had to get up to make sure my dog got out and uh, did his thing outside before I came upstairs to do this show, talk to you great folks, and didn't get a lot of sleep. My son's coming in. My oldest son, he's driving a car from Seattle, Washington to Phoenix, Arizona with his lady friend, and they're gonna stop by my town and have some coffee or whatever. Ah, coffee. That's what I didn't have just now because I didn't have enough time because I was sleeping and too tired. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. So, I started watching football games. I was probably paying attention to football games probably around 7, 8 years old. And when I was about eight, uh, I grew up in the town that I live in now. It's a small college town in Northern California, and they had a Division II college football team, University of California at Davis. So basically, like there was University of California, the Berkeley school, and then they had an agriculture program, and the farm was about 65, 70 miles north, and it was in a tiny town called Davis, and then that's where the university grew from. And so it was basically the second University of California, and it was at Davis. It was the Berkeley farm was what it was at first. Then it was UCLA, and they kept adding UC campuses. So I'm a little kid, and UC Davis is in Division II playing football, and my dad starts taking me to football games. And I remember, like, super cold. For me, when I say super cold, I mean like 45, 50 degrees, having a hot chocolate and watching the team. And they were very competitive. So if you are familiar with North Dakota State is now FCS. They consistently compete for championships uh, in FCS, but in Division II, they were basically that. They moved up a level from Division II, but they were competitive every year, and we had some serious playoff games because even back then, in the early '80s, Division II had a playoff, not the bowl system. They had a playoff, which is how it should be done, and we have that now, so that's good. But Davis and North Dakota State had some like serious battles. Davis was a Division II non-scholarship school, and they were pumping out NFL players. Ken O'Brien, Jets quarterback, came to UC Davis. Rolf Benershka was a kicker. Mike Wise was a defensive end. Bo Eason was a safety for the Houston Oilers. They somehow, this Division II school that didn't give out scholarships for football was putting out NFL quality football players. And Ken O'Brien gave me his wristband after a game and stuff. And I love UC Davis football, and I always have. And there's been a tradition of NFL players. Keelan Doss, who plays for the Raiders. People who play fantasy might know Joshua Kelly. He started at UC Davis. Kevin Daft was a quarterback for the Titans during their Super Bowl run, Davis. And they moved up to FCS from Division II. At one point, it was called 1AA. And they've struggled, but they've kind of put it together. So this year they're having a fantastic season. They have a running back who, if you know who Dylan Laube is, he was an FCS running back last year, came out in the Senior Bowl, did pretty well, good profile, and he was drafted by the Raiders. UC Davis has a running back that's a lot like that. Fits the profile. He's a little bit bigger. His name is Lan Larison, Larison. Look him up. Lan Larison is an absolute dog, and he's a threat at the run and in the passing game. So if you follow me on Twitter, every week that UC Davis plays, I'll throw in a Lan Larison update. And I've like had DMs with the guy, and he's going to come on once the season's over. He's going to come on my show. I've got bigger plans that he doesn't know about. I'm going to host the Scott Fish Bowl draft next year, and I'm hoping that he can come and talk. It'll be in June. I'm trying to get to the Shrine Bowl because he's on their top 100 players for the Shrine Bowl list. He's probably going to make it to the Senior Bowl. There's a chance he gets invited to the Combine. He's just a dual threat guy, and if you look up Lan Larison's stats, they're pretty impressive. And so last night, the Aggies are undefeated except for they're undefeated in FCS play. They opened the season against Cal and lost. But you know, they're a lower quality school. They don't have the recruiting that Cal does. They don't, have the budget, the stadium, all that stuff. They're not an ACC school. They're an FCS school. So they're this season they're undefeated in FCS play. Their only loss was to Cal, and they had a couple of monkeys on their back. And one of those was Eastern Washington, who they were like 0-11 against in the last 11 years. And when you're a fan of a team, you watch for like little indicators, and they beat Eastern Washington, and that was, to me, that was an indicator that this is something different is going on. They beat Idaho. Idaho has been in the FCS national conversation. They're a contender. They also have struggled against the University of Montana, the Grizzlies, who have been in the FCS playoffs for the last few years. They're good. Montana State and Montana are both good, and they're in UC Davis's division. Well, this year for the first time, the Aggies are actually like competing in the division. And last night they played Montana in Montana, a road game in Montana. And I look at my phone real quick. I'm at work. I look at my phone real quick, and it's 7-0 Montana. And I'm like, crap. I don't know if I can watch this. I'm too anxious. And so then I checked the score again, and it was 7-7. I was like, all right, okay. They're not just laying down, which they've been known to do in the past. And then they're up 10-7. And then it's tied 10-10. And then Montana gets a field goal or something, and then all of a sudden the UC Davis defense just absolutely took control of the game and just started dominating. And they won 30-14. So going into the game, Davis was ranked number 4 in FCS, and Montana was 7, because Montana has a loss in division. I think they lost to somebody that Davis has played, but Davis is ranked number 4. This is they have a playoff system, so they're going to get like a first week bye. They're going to, as long as everything plays out, this team is absolutely for real. And the way that that this team is for real is that last night the game was on ESPN2, an FCS game that wasn't an FCS playoff game. And it was on ESPN2. So, look out for UC Davis, you guys. We know FCS schools can put out talent. I want to say Romeo Dubs came from a FCS school. We know Carson Wentz did, Trey Lance. Anyway, we got Dylan Fink, full PPR. Diff League. Is that Diff League? I don't know what that means. Dylan Fink, tell me what Diff Leagues means. Starting set, 1 running back. Akers, Rodriguez. I'm starting Rodriguez in leagues. And, I like to think that I bring something unique to the table, you guys. And I put my money where my mouth is. You asked me a start set question, and I got a stake in the game. I don't just tell you what the experts think. I tell you who I'm putting in my lineups. I'm riding or dying with you. So, Chris Rodriguez is in my lineups. If he goes down, you go down, but so do I. All right. So Rodriguez over Akers, 1 QB. Akers, yeah, no. Chris Rodriguez. Uh, Single quarterback, Baker or Kyler. That's a tough one, but you got to go Baker. He's just been on fire. One flex and one tight end. Are you? I think what Dylan Fink has been saying is that these are all in different leagues, not the same team. That's cool. Thanks for clarifying that. Um, Not clarifying what it meant, but clarifying that these are all in different leagues. If I have that right. All right. So Chris Rodriguez, Baker over Kyler, one flex and one tight end. So I'm assuming this is the same league, but different than the other two. Ricky Pearsall or Romo Dunze, and then Ferguson or Hunter Henry. All right, let's data dive for this one. I'm going Odunze over Pearsall, just because Jawan Jennings is healthy and playing. I did in one league that Nico Collins is healthy. I did take Odunze out of my lineup, but I also don't have Pearsall. I'm not a huge Pearsall fan. I like Jacob Cowing more, and also you have Jawan Jennings healthy, so I think he gets the slot snaps over Pearsall. And Pearsall is more of an outside guy, but I think they're covered with CMC, Kittle, Jawan Jennings, Debo. All right, so I'm going Odunze there, and then Ferguson or Henry. Henry against Chicago and Ferguson against Philly. So we go to the data for this one. Philly is fourth lowest in points allowed to tight ends. And Chicago, I go Hunter Henry. In fact, I have a league, I think, where my roster is pretty decimated by injuries and bye weeks and stuff. And you're not supposed to play tight ends in the flex, but I think I have both Hunter Henry and Jake Ferguson in the flex in that league, in flex spots. So there you go. Rodriguez, Baker, Odunze, and Henry. So I do want you guys. I want to invite you all to my Twitter page, and on my Twitter page, like I said, I give a weekly update. So last night, number 4 UC Davis Aggies took down number 7 Montana 30-14 in Montana. They are looking good for a playoff spot. This is the most complete Aggies team I've seen in 40 years. My Lan Larison update last night, he rushed 24 times for 97 yards, caught 6 passes for 48 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown was nice. It was a nice little bootleg. Larison went out in the flat and was wide open. He's got wiggle. He's got speed. He's strong. He's big. He runs big. He gets sideways going through holes, which is pretty fun to watch. He's a super fun running back to watch. And he's going to be on a practice squad next year, period. He may not get drafted. He may go as a UDFA. But he's absolutely going to be on an NFL roster next year. All right, keep the questions coming, you guys. That's what we're here for. See the thumbnail? I updated the thumbnail. Some pancakes and whiskey. A cute little sun. cute little son with my visage. That's and then it says starts and sits news and recipes and shenanigans. So I'll always bring you shenanigans. Recipes I'll do sometimes. I did my Bloody Maria recipe. That's if you missed it, that's where you take a quart with tequila, shake it up, drop a celery stalk in there, and you got a Clamato Bloody Maria and on the go, and it's fantastic. So that's the recipe. That's the last recipe. I had planned on making French 75s for this show. That's my all-time favorite cocktail. If you want to impress somebody, go to brunch and order a French 75 or make them at home if you're serving brunch or whatever. They're better than Bloody Marys. They're better than mimosas. Think of like a mimosa, like weird sounding ball. And he wants to say hi. Can you look at the camera and say hello, Murdoch? You can see his nose. Look at his nose. There's his nose right there. Okay, go lay down. He has this thing he likes to do where he waits for me to like be streaming, and then he starts fucking around, chewing on shit he's not supposed to. Oh, my bad, Tyler. Sorry. Keep it clean. He starts doing that. So, and then news. I said news. I gave you UC Davis news, and we also got Germany game news. The 2-7 pillow fight. Giants at Carolina in Germany. Deutschland. The game is Auf Deutschland. That's German. Currently, Carolina is winning 10-0. And the Giants just got a critical first down. Because if you want to spread the word of the NFL across this beautiful globe that we're on, how better to do it than Giants versus Panthers, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Little update, little treat for you guys. Daniel Jones, 8 of 16 for 66 yards and an interception. Bryce Young balling out, 94 yards and a touchdown, 10 of 16 passing. Chuba, 12 carries for 93 yards, 52 yards on 11 carries for Tyrone Tracy. Jalen Coker, 3 catches, 41 yards, and 3 for 23 for Wan'Dale Robinson. Let's get Malik Neighbors involved here, you guys. Stop handing the ball to Devin Singletary and start throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy. If anybody's a fan of the show Letterkenny, Derry has his super soft birthday. This is the super soft football game. It's like the super soft equivalent. All right, it's 3rd and 4. Danny Dimes back, and he finds Wan'Dale again. If there's one thing that we know about Wan'Dale Robinson, it's that he's not Malik Neighbors. Serious. Malik Neighbors is a different person than Wan'Dale Robinson. I think it's safe to say Malik Neighbors is a better football player than Wan'Dale Robinson. That's no Wan'Dale Robinson shade. I like me some Wan'Dale Robinson. But they do get the first down to Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale was the New York Giants target leader last year. Finally, another Tyrone Tracy play, and he breaks it out, and he goes, get in! Yes, sir! No flags. Let's go. That was a 40-yard scamper by Tyrone Tracy. And you saw it here live. Would that count as shenanigans or news? How about a recipe? Hand the ball off to Tyrone Tracy, and he's going to bust one. Let's go. 30 yards. 30-yard scamper for Tyrone Tracy into the end zone. That was gorgeous, especially because my most important league right now, I have Tyrone Tracy, so that felt really good. I do believe I have Bryce Young on my bench, though. It's start 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. Start 2 quarterbacks, and then there's a super flex spot. So it's 3 quarterbacks possible. Yes, it's an 8-team league. But I have CJ Stroud in instead of Bryce Young. All right. We got Dominic Hammerquist, elite name. Hammerquist. Is that German? Are you watching the Germany game? Start Stroud, Goff, or Stafford. Let's go to the big board. We're still going to the big board, y'all. To the big board. See, I went and I did the UC Davis stats, and that got me off the big board. So just bear with me for a second. We'll get there. All right, Stroud, Goff, or Stafford. Goff has a tough matchup. Stroud has a tough matchup, and Stafford has a tough matchup. All right, so we got Houston, Detroit, and Miami. Bear with me, Dom. I bet your friends call you Dom. I call my friends named Dominic Dom. All right, Miami, 13.2 points allowed to quarterbacks in fantasy. That is 3rd best. Detroit, 15.4 points per game allowed to opposing quarterbacks. That is 7th best. And then it was Houston. Houston allows 20.8. So I gotta say, you gotta go Houston. Dumb. There's your shenanigans, folks. You gotta go Goff. Hashtag Novato boys. I was born in the same town as Jared Goff was. He's the 2nd best football player ever born there. Also, Mike Wise. Look him up. Google LA Times Mike Wise. Read that story. It's pretty great. I got a Mike Wise jersey right over here. If you look up behind my head, I have an old Sports Illustrated. Mike Wise sacking the crap out of Troy Aikman. He and I share a hometown, and he went to UC Davis. All right. Brian Nisco 22 checking in. Thanks for watching and stuff. Do you think Tyreek Hill will play? I really don't want to throw Packers defense to get something else. You have Pearsall. That's a tough question. Like this is it's a dance we do with Tyreek Hill every year. He gets banged up a lot. He's doing everything possible to play Monday Night Football. The only thing that I can say is Pearsall is not an option. Count on Hill to play. Count on the game potentially being a shootout and Tyreek being able to contribute. But be ready to pivot, because if he's out on Monday night, you can throw him into your IR. You don't have to drop the Packers defense. And then you can pick up, I don't know, Malik Washington, some other option than Tyreek Hill. make sure that you have Tyreek in a flex spot so that if it has to be a Miami or Rams tight end or running back, you can make that emergency call. But I think Tyreek's upside versus Pearsall is too much, and it's going to be worth the wait. So I hope that answered that question for you. Okay. Sweden, actually. Rough options. Dowdle, Waddle, Pearsall. I'm going Dowdle. Waddle's been struggling. There, you can't really you can't count on him. Pearsall is buried, and Dowdle is that's their running back option. What are they going to do? Give the ball to Dalvin Cook? You got to go with Dowdle. Yeah, the Philly defense against the run is pretty darn good. But I mean, like you said, you have rough options. I just watched a stand-up show. It was Seth Meyers. It's over on HBO Max, and he's got a joke about how Sweden is. It's okay to make fun of Swedish people and how they talk. All right, and Brian, I got to get out of here. Stay tuned on Fantasy Football Advice Network on YouTube for Spilled Coffee with a whole host of people. It's funny because on this channel you get me by myself, and then you get 4 alive and awake people who've been awake for a while. Me dragging my butt out of bed earlier than everybody. All right, my flex are Achane and Hunt. Okay. So you have to go Tyreek in the wide receiver spot. Yeah, do that. I mean, it limits your options if you have to emergency pivot, but it's Tyreek. So yeah, go with Tyreek. Hope for the best for Monday. I mean, he still has 2 days, and he usually plays. Especially if he says he's doing everything he can to get on the field. And then if you have to pick up some peripheral wide receiver for Miami or LA, you can do that. All right, I'm going to get out of here, everybody. Have a great week. End on that flex. Everybody go over to fantasysportsadvicenetwork.com and create a membership. You can also scan this QR code, and that'll give you links to everything, including FSAN, my Twitter, all of our shows, the Undroppables on YouTube, Fantasy Football Plus on YouTube, FSAN on YouTube, Player Profiler and Player Profiler News on YouTube. You can find all that stuff. Just scan that and enjoy Spilled Coffee. I hope you win.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.